The ship, because there's no paid positions, it's hard to keep good staff around. God always provided, but at this particular time, they were short of a master engineer. Engineer takes care of the mechanical side of the ship. And they had torn the engine apart, the diesel engine on this ship, and pulled the pistons out. And the pistons were laying on the deck of the ship. Well, I'm not a great mechanic, but I do know enough to know that when the pistons are laying on the ship, that ship's not going anywhere. I'm not great with spark plugs and changing oil, but I knew enough to know pistons on the deck of the ship. This ship is going to be stuck here at harbor, and we were like a week away from supposed to sailing to outreach. And these pistons are supposed to be milled and new rings and all that put on. And I said, Lord, there's got to be something happening here. So the leaders called us all together and said, we need to pray that God will provide us the people that we need for our ship. And so I said, whew, I think you guys should have thought about that about 6 months ago. One morning in praise and worship time, I hear this commotion in the back. And this guy is coming in the back there. He's in his, like a ship uniform. He said, I need to speak to the captain. I need to speak to the captain. And people said, well, we're still in worship. You don't have to worship. No, he says, I need to speak to the captain right now. And so we got a hold of our leaders and, they brought the captain out and just worshiping softly in the background because, this had really interrupted the worship flow, obviously. And I'm there, and I hear this conversation, and the man, he says, I need to speak to the captain. What's going on this ship? The captain explains to him, well, we're a mercy ship. We're a medical mercy ship. We bring, medical help around the South Pacific, and that's largely what we're about. He said, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I know what you're about. I researched that, but I need to know what's going on with the people on this ship. And he said, we were walking back down the dock after we'd gone out to eat, and we heard music playing. My wife and I like good music, and so we heard music, and we followed the music to your ship. He says, I don't know much about religion. In fact, I don't even know if I believe in God. I was baptized as an Anglican, but I'm not even sure he exists. And he says, as we watched, there was this light that circled around the people that were playing. He says, and as the guitarist would play or someone would sing, the light would just surround that person. Then it would go to the other people in the group, and the light just kept passing from person to person. And then slowly the light went up and went to the skies. He says, and I need to know what that was. The captain said, well, that was the Ruach, the Spirit of God. He began to cry. He says, I've been an enemy of God all my life, but I need whatever those young people had. He gave his life right there, bawling his eyes out in front of everyone in the middle of worship. And says, I need to be part of this. He said, I just retired from my job as a merchant mariner and being an engineer on ships. Could your ship possibly use a merchant marine engineer? Our captain said, we just prayed for you this morning. He said, well, God must have heard because here I am.